Welcome to Doug in Exile. We've speculated about E. Jean Carroll's money and the money that Letitia James is demanding out of Trump.
We need to protect Judge Engoron. We need to protect his clerk. We need to protect Tish James. We need to protect E. Jean Carroll. We need to protect her lawyers. We need to protect the jurors. We need to protect Fani Willis.
And some of you have given me a little bit of questions like, what do you mean the amount of money they're asking for doesn't really matter compared to Trump winning the presidency? Because Trump has so many different avenues to get that $400 million and even $500 million to pay off these fake legal debts. They're not a threat to him. And now this is while he still goes to appeal, as his first case is to get them dismissed, obviously. But even if he had to pay him, it wouldn't be a big deal. So let's go to this article and I'll make my case on just one line of credit on how he'll be able to repay or pay at least the start of the E. Jean Carroll and the Letitia James charges so that he'll be able to make his appeal. Clean property private lenders could be Trump's best option to get $540 million for legal judgments. This is over on CNBC. Donald Trump is racing to stave off a pair of civil penalties totaling nearly $540 million without having to first put up the full amounts in cash or bonds. The former president's lawyers claim that he would face irreparable harm if required to fully secure his judgments in order to keep them from coming due, and might even have to quickly sell off properties that can't be rebought. And then once Trump Tower's gone, and they get the appeal and they say, yeah, you're right, Letitia James overreached and the E. Jean Carroll, too much money. But thanks for selling off Trump Tower. Now you can't go buy it back. See the kind of damages that can happen?
Letitia James, how does it feel to sell out the country? Letitia James, how's it to sell out the country? Do you feel good selling out the country, Letitia James? Yeah, equality for all. You're a sellout. You're a George Soros puppet. You're a sellout. You're a sellout. You're a George Soros puppet.
Quote, no one, including Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, and Donald Trump, has $500 million just laying around, unquote, Trump's attorney Chris Kice told an appeals court judge last week. That's absolutely true, absolutely reasonable. But legal experts say there's another option that Trump's lawyers haven't mentioned in the court filings. Trump could offer up some of his properties as collateral to borrow what he needs, potentially from private equity sources. So he could go to a bunch of businessmen, put his properties up, put Trump Tower up as collateral. So it buys him time to move money around. There are lots of private lenders out there in the debt markets and private equity markets that could lend to Trump, said Columbia University law professor Eric Talley. In all cases, the loans would probably have to be secured with Trump properties, but if there's enough equity in some of them, he should be able to obtain secured credit, even on a compressed timeline. If you're going to lend out $400 million, if you're a company that does that, and they're in the business of doing that, who better to lend to than Trump?
Letitia James has shown her stripes. We know who she is right now, but just in case, too male, too pale, this woman is gross.
He's called me venomous.
We will fight back to your attempt to bring Trumpism to New York City.
He's called me disgraceful.
Of the fact that they stole the Supreme Court seat.
Why would you have any faith in our system in light of the likes of Letitia James?
The professor underscored the irony of Trump using his real estate to fight a lawsuit in which he was found liable for fraudulently inflating his property values for financial gain. This is why this article is so great and important. It proves how wrong Letitia James is that says he just inflated his property values. Then Trump's going to go to a bank and they're going to make an assessment of what his property value is to loan him money. And there's an actual value there that's enough to cover the cost that Trump is being charged to repay New York that's supposed to be fraud. It proves that Letitia James committed fraud and Trump is telling the truth about his property's value if he pays this debt. Her whole point is that it's overvalued and he ripped them off by that amount. Okay, any loans, quote, would themselves involve making declarations of the value of the property. And that, of course, is what got him into this mess to begin with, unquote, said Talley. But so it would be funny if Trump paid off, was able to pay that bond for $500 million to New York. And then they took him to court again for overvaluing his properties. See how fake New York is? But accurately appraising the value of Trump's assets is not a serious obstacle, as Trump's lawyers noted during the fraud trial. The institutions that have lent him money already have conducted their own analysis of Trump's finances and did not rely solely on the claims at issue in the financial statements. A more important factor could be whether Trump's real estate assets are already mortgaged, said the Professor John Coffey, quote, he would have to come up with the clean real estate property that is not already securing something that some other bank has a lien on, Coffey said. Does he have that property? I can't tell you. I can. He does. He has properties in all stages of lending and being paid off. In New York City, the value of Trump's real estate holdings totals $690 million, according to a September 2023 estimate by Forbes. And some of the most prominent buildings that bear Trump's name in that city are largely owned by other entities. So he's just a brand that they're allowed to put his name on, while they build the building, and they pay him a royalty. New York Attorney General Letitia James, who brought the fraud case, said she would seize Trump's real estate assets if he cannot pay his civil penalty. Quote, there's absolutely no reason for the New York Attorney General to be kind and gentle to him if he doesn't post bond, Coffey said. They instead offered to post a $100 million bond, but New York Appeals Court Judge Anil Singh rejected the proposal. Again, they're just trying to abuse him. This is not justice, guys. Unless a full appeals court reverses Singh's decision, Trump has until March 25th to post an, quote, undertaking, cash or bonds, covering the entire penalty in order to stop it from taking effect during his appeal. Trump has also asked a federal judge to delay another fast approaching deadline to pay $83 million penalty to E. Jean Carroll's civil defamation case. Carroll's attorneys argued that Trump's request, quote, boils down to nothing more than trust me. If Trump does attempt to sell assets to meet his undertaking, he won't have much time to get it done. He would have to hire a broker to market his properties, and any deal would have to close in order to free up the cash to use toward a bond, said Neil Peterson, owner of New York-based bond. So that E. Jean Carroll and Letitia James that you're supposed to pay to. So this is bad news for them, and this is good news for Trump. But even if he has to pay it, guys, him being president, he can make another $500 million to cover for it. He won't go without this money, okay? He may pay it to these fraudsters, which I highly doubt. I doubt they'll get half of it. I actually think they'll get maybe a third at the most. I'm Doug in Exile.